Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. Wish you seen you go be it's Ordinal revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What is up, guys? We have an amazing episode for you guys today. Nice interview for you guys. We got Nubit. They are building the Trustless world computer for Bitcoin. It's BVM, guys. We've been hearing about BVM for a long time. We're really going to break down how it's being used, right? That's a big thing with everything. You know, we hear about technology, we hear about what people are building, but it's hard to kind of break that down and put that into projects. And that's what we're going to see with Nubit here. Really excited to talk to these guys, man. It's been a long time coming. So we're really looking forward to this. And without further ado, let's get the show started. I'm bringing my partner here. As always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
What's up, man? So what do you know about Nubit so far?
So I know what I know from when we met with them in our kind of private call before, right? And these guys have been working with BitVM, and really that kind of I would say like almost like this ecosystem of builders that have this alliance, and they have a single goal, and that's really to bring programmability to Bitcoin layer 1. And so that's what Nubit is kind of creating, like the programmable side of it, is my understanding. I could be wrong, but we'll find out here very shortly if I am. And it looks like they have their own kind of standard of programmability called Goldinals, and I'll let them kind of break that down because they're a lot smarter than I am. But it's exciting because, this is something that has been a pain point for our space, right? We talk about like programmability on layer 1 to where we can like do something that has like logic, like similar to smart contracts, and have like this virtual machine that processes, these tasks and logic, right? And that's what Nubit is about. They work with other teams to really deliver that, right? And so we're going to find out very soon, because I think tomorrow they're going to be releasing something.
Yeah, I mean, there's some huge alpha in this episode, guys. Definitely want to stay tuned to the end here, but we're going to break it down with their backgrounds, kind of get into exactly what Nubit is, where it started from, and then where it's going. But without further ado, let's bring in the guys here. Let's bring in Hanzhi. Let's bring in Norbert. Guys, welcome to Order Revolution.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, thank you for having us.
Yep.
No problem.
Thanks for joining us.
All right, guys, let's kind of get into it. It's amazing. We can't wait to hear about your project. We love the people behind the projects, right? Like, I don't want to invest in projects. I invest in people. So I would love to kind of know who you guys are. Start with Hanzhi.
Yeah, so thanks for the invite. I'm Hanzhi. I'm one of the co-founders of Nubit. And so I'm also a PhD at UCT, where I do research in CK proofs and blockchain. So basically, for my personal journey, I first entered crypto in 2020, starting out in blockchain security, where I focused on identifying and mitigating vulnerabilities in Ethereum smart contracts. And in 2022, I joined Veradice, which is a blockchain auditing company, where I led several zero-knowledge proofs projects, including writing formal proofs for Ethereum foundations and 0xSpark. And during that time, I dived deep into the CK research and gained hands-on experience in security and protocol design. So in early 2023, I began exploring the Bitcoin ecosystem. And it's Ordinals and BS20, all this stuff. By the end of the year, I co-founded Nubit to tackle one of the Bitcoin's most critical challenges, data availability. So our goal at Nubit at the very beginning is to unlock Bitcoin's full potential by building solutions that are scalable, trustless, and Bitcoin native. That's basically over the past few years, I've been working on some hardcore CK projects, and now it's time to post that experience into this project and contribute to the Bitcoin.
Love it.
Yeah, man. All right, we'll jump to Norbert. What's up, man?
Yeah.
Know kind of your
Hey,
background.
how are you guys? Yeah. Pretty much entered overall blockchain in 2019, 2020. Prior to that one, though, I was an athlete. Pretty much I was born and raised in Hungary, had a chance to swim for my whole life. Pretty much went to the Olympics. That's a kind of fun fact about me. Not swimming anymore though, and just trying to pretty much add as much value to a blockchain space. Initially, Ethereum, NFTs, but then I slowly kind of moved around from GameFi, DeFi, EVM ecospace, and 2023, end of 2023, Bitcoin, and pretty much just doing marketing growth for Nubit. So, like Hanzhi said, I think there's a lot of exciting developments happening in the space. That's why I feel like super excited to be here and even talk more about it.
Yeah, definitely a lot of developments in our space, our specific, niche space of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Recently there's been a lot of mind share taken away from the Bitcoin ecosystem, going to AI and other chains. But one thing that sometimes Shizzy and I have to do is like we talk to each other and say, "Hey, man, what's happening over here?" And then we dive deep into our ecosystem. Hey, there's a lot of builders over here that are smart, and you guys are, definitely in that group. So, going back to Hanzhi here, having all that ZK experience, like dealing with EVM tech stack and then coming over to like clunky UTXO type of tech stack, was that a hard transition for you?
Yes. At the beginning, like the Bitcoin's UTX model is very different from Ethereum's. Like there's no state. You need to use some technology, some hacks to basically to enable like introduce states to the Bitcoin, which is pretty different from Ethereum. And but like it can be learned. Like every technology can be learned.
Yeah. Yeah, you're exactly right. There's no states because there's no VM here, right? That's really solidified, and that's what you guys are trying to be a part of, is really building that out. Do you feel like that the overall kind of BitVM alliance group of builders are really close, or maybe like almost there in creating that?
Yeah. I think they are well. Like we are working very closely. So you can like all the works are open source, and you can directly see the GitHub. You can see like every week there's like open pull request to that BitVM main repo, and contributing from every single project.
Yeah.
For someone who doesn't know, what is BVM? What does it stand for? Obviously, we have EVM and stuff like that, which is Ethereum Virtual Machine. Yeah, BVM will be Bitcoin Virtual Machine, correct? Kind of, could you break that down exactly what that is?
Yeah. So BitVM is essentially smart contract on Bitcoin. So it can bring like the execution to Bitcoin, which means you can like developers can now build advanced applications that are like until now that could only exist on other blockchains with smart contracts. So lending protocol, DeFi, smart vaults, layer twos, bridges. You can build all these applications that require smart contracts with BitVM. And like right now, like all teams are trying to make it faster and cheaper and more secure by using like introducing tools that can like optimize and verify this code automatically. Yeah. So basically, too long don't read, smart contract on Bitcoin.
Yeah, and the difference would be though that let's say if you're doing a comparison to Ethereum, Ethereum's virtual machine is on chain, is that correct? And then Bitcoin's it's partly on chain, but the indexing would be off chain, or the computation would be off chain. How what's the difference between the two?
Yeah. So let me explain it in like in more details. Like basically, BitVM is like a computation paradigm which introduced by Robin Linus. He's like a PhD student of Stanford and also the founder of ZeroThink. So BitVM, like Bitcoin, is very limited. It can only handle very little computation. So what BitVM do is to put the heavy lifting computation off chain and only defer the validation process through an on-chain verifier deployed on Bitcoin. So you only need to trust science and crypto protocol. You don't need to trust like off-chain indexers, since every single computation can be verified on-chain on Bitcoin.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's basically the way that we can have a virtual machine without upgrading the chain as of now, right? So I really love that. I do want to swing one more question to Norbert, because he's, the marketing guy, and we get to enjoy his presence every Thursday in the Ordinal Hive space, which is very fun. And Norbert, like, for you being a marketing person, and that's my background, is digital marketing, so I can kind of understand like how people can get frustrated, especially how have you dealt with, I guess, like the mind share of the space, the overall crypto space, kind of going to AI and getting away from Bitcoin's ecosystem. What are your thoughts about that, like, for the future?
I think it's a great question where we've seen the Bitcoin ecosystem from like early 2023, end of 2023, shifting from BRC20 to Ordinals to Runes, BTC-Fi, now into like, I feel like AI, and also like programmability on L1. I think a lot of different projects wants to kind of unlock that. So I think the interesting part is how we can work with it. I think at the end of the day, most of the projects going to have to adapt to it regardless. And with BitVM, or what we're doing is also trying to include the framework. I think we see a lot of interesting projects trying to develop, once again, open source frameworks that, whether that be with AI agents or something, we are at the early stages where I think a lot of projects are just trying to try out things without having any sort of like success, and almost like cookie cutting what has happened on previous chains. And so I don't think we there yet when it comes down to like the end result of how we can implement AI. So I think we see a mindshare picking up immediately because of the massive valuation, because of the massive price action. But I think what needs to happen is how we can have a useful side of things, that as people, as end users, we can interact with them and some benefit from it instead of just buying a token.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So let's jump into exactly what Nubit is doing. You guys are using BVM, right? Smart contracts to create this business, right? Could you kind of break down exactly what what actually Nubit is doing using BVM?
Yeah. So BitVM is great. So let me first introduce like what exact use cases can be like enabled by BitVM. So basically, you can deploy like a lot more powerful and Bitcoin native projects, such as like shared Bitcoin security, like a Bitcoin native staking protocol that is as powerful as EigenLayer, due to it supports like more complex session mechanism. And secondly, you can also deploy like Bitcoin native assets that are programmable instead of just like some like static figures sitting on the Bitcoin mainnet. And also with these assets, you can introduce the Bitcoin native stablecoins. And with all these assets, we can create like a true Bitcoin native DeFi ecosystem on Bitcoin. You can extend these assets to more complex lending and swap protocols. So basically, like with BitVM, the future looks bright. But why we haven't seen anything yet? So well, that's because like making BitVM from a prototype on paper to a product, it's extremely challenging. So that's what we are doing right now. So I can briefly introduce that. So basically, just like any programs, you first have to implement BitVM. So let's say BitVM contains like a 016 CK verifier in some high-level program language, let's say Rust. It would only cost like 200 lines of code, cost me maybe 1 hour to write that. It's pretty easy, as you only need to write a few hundreds of code. But then this program will be processed by a compiler to compile down to the Bitcoin script. And now I hope you spot the problem, right? So we all know that Bitcoin script is Turing incomplete. So which means like if you think the expressiveness of Ethereum or like other like modern blockchains as audits, who can express her like rich emotions such as happy, sad, angry, calm, the expressiveness of Bitcoin script is like a 1-year-old baby. So so he can only have two states, cry and not cry. So that means like translating a small program into Bitcoin could be extremely large. Let's say for a Grow 16 verifier, it only costs 200 less code in high-level program language, and in Bitcoin, it costs 2 gigabytes. Which means this is the since the very last difficulty that if you want to put your code on chain, if you want to deploy your BitVM. So with BitVM, we need to find some way to make it practical, and let's do some way to do that. So basically, it's technically possible. We can, even if we can't just upload all the data, like 2 gigabytes, it costs like tons of money, right? So we can treat it like a Lego model. We can break it into pieces, into thousands of pieces, and each small pieces can be fit into a Bitcoin block. So as you can imagine, the entire process is extremely difficult, and we are all of the BitVM teams are trying to implement some tools to make this process efficient and easier. So that's what we are trying to do. And with this BitVM, we can have a lot more new use cases that don't exist before, such as asset protocol, like a truly trust minimized asset protocol without the reliance on an indexer.
Okay, so without a reliance on indexer, so you don't need an off-chain indexer for this asset, but the computation happens off-chain. How do you remove the trust assumptions for the computation?
Yeah, so I can explain it a bit very well. So basically, for BS20 and Ordinals, all the data is on chain, but we need an off-chain indexer to execute all this data to get the state.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have if you only look at the on-chain part, there's no state. You don't know whose balance is what and vice versa. So basically, for Goldinals with BitVM, we can attach the execution proof to Bitcoin, which means you can still do the execution off-chain, but we enforce this proof, the proof of execution together with the data on-chain. So basically, when you look at the on-chain data part, you will know whether this transaction is success or not. So based on that, we can remove the off-chain indexer part.
So the balances will be updated on chain and
Yes,
kept up
exactly.
kept up on chain.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So it's almost kind of a cat 20 kind of thing without having to add opcat.
Yeah, you get it. Yeah. So
So
on Bitcoin
it's the
mainnet, we don't have
validators.
opcat.
So it's the miners, so the ones that are keeping the data on chain. Like, how does that? Like, I know with Cat 20s, it's the miners that are ones that are kind of keeping everything, right?
Yeah. So all the miners, all the large set of Bitcoin miners try to validate this data.
Okay.
So the limitations of Bitcoin's logic will still be able to keep track of these balances. And will it keep track if I send Shizzy 5 Yagobi tokens? It will keep track of my balance. I have 5 less in my wallet, and that
Yes.
will be tracked on chain. Wow, that's huge. That's
Yeah.
huge.
Thanks to BitVM. Yeah, and
Thank you,
things
BitVM.
thanks to BitVM. And thanks to all the teams building on BitVM. There are a lot of efforts put on there.
Yeah. So this sounds great, right? But as we know, what comes with success is not always the tech, right? But I know you guys are doing the hard work with that. So it comes with community. So in a sense, you guys kind of have to work with the existing, asset classes out there that have the most momentum, and those being, let's say, like BRC20 and Runes, right? So you mentioned pre-show that these type of fungible token assets could be programmable in this kind of new asset class of Goldinals. Could you explain how that could work?
Yeah, exactly. So I think right now the major issue with the Bitcoin ecosystem with the existing dozens of asset protocol is that the interoperability is pretty low. There's no interoperability. And when we are trying to design Goldinals protocol, we are trying to make it suitable for all the existing protocols, so that we do not want to create more fragmentation.
Yeah.
We're trying to we're trying to unify the like asset protocol on Bitcoin. So also thanks to BitVM, Goldinals protocol also has like native programmabilities, which means it's like a true ES20. And for Bitcoin, you can like design or deploy like airdrop, batch mint, all these new features direct to Bitcoin to Goldinals without changing any existing logic. So for example, if you have like an idea to do stablecoin in the past without this protocol, you need to design a new meta protocol. You need to design a new meta protocol and also implement an indexer. And the wallet need to support that part. That's a whole lot of work. And with Goldinals, everything can be programmable. So which means you don't need to like introduce a new protocol just to do a new feature. Instead, you can directly write your contract and deploy to this Goldinals protocol. And what make it like truly, I think truly important for the whole ecosystem is that we are trying to unify all the existing protocols. So basically, if you hold like a BS20 or Ruins or Ordinals, whatever, you can wipe your existing assets directly to the Goldinals protocol. And for Goldinals protocol, it's like a programmable layer for all these assets. And also thanks to the programmability, this part can be done in a trustless minimized way.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and all these features contribute to like a more unified Bitcoin ecosystem, Bitcoin asset ecosystem.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that we do have a fragmentation problem. And I think it's because of the limitations, but then the limitations end up creating like these fragmented token standards that have their own tribalism and they compete with each other within our own ecosystem, right? So what you broke down for us just now, I'm imagining a DEX that uses Goldinals, and I could be trading a wrapped version of $1 Billion Cat, and I could trade that for a wrapped version of Ordi, and I would be able to do that. I'd be able to swap those two together, correct?
Yes, that's all correct. Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Basically, like Bitcoin applications no longer need like separate protocols for new features or assets. It can enable like full decentralization and native programmability for all the meta protocols.
Yeah.
And everything fancy can be happening on this layer.
I think people would be happy about that, like especially like the Atomicals ARC people, like even like maybe Tap and stuff, because you know it wouldn't be so fragmented, and you could really kind of put everything. If you wanted to go back to the meta protocol state, I guess you could if you wanted to, because I imagine this would still obviously be a bridging kind of factor. But like, okay, I feel like who has the hardest job now is Norbert, because now he has to market this to try to convince everybody that this is the way. So Norbert, what's your plan for that?
I think it's interesting or important to understand that the biggest thing, like we talked about it, that there's so many different meta protocols and how we can actually unify it all. I think it's almost like Goldinals is a true ERC20 on Bitcoin or for Bitcoin. So I think we're trying to unify, but also keep it native. When we see what Bitcoin stands for, I think for decentralization, we all know that part, how we can actually educate the people at the same time. I think the ecosystem has been growing, but we just create almost like more issue with the fragmentation. So I think a lot of projects, a lot of amazing people that are building, willing to kind of get on board on this, because at the end of the day, we want to reach as many people as possible. I think when it becomes like almost like a challenge is how we can make sure that, actually, let me take it back. So with all these different protocols, like becomes like a massive issue for the Bitcoin layer one, like it becomes inefficient, becomes like much higher cost. Who wants to pay more? Like, I feel like if we can unify it for the protocol level, it means less chaos, much lower cost, and I think easier user experience. I think a lot of projects are working on kind of deploying different tokens and different ways. But we know it at this point where the UI UX experience has to be good, and I think a lot of projects been working on that, but almost hard to see those results immediately. So I think, again, falling back to the same thing where how we can unify it, and I think that's what essentially Bitcoin is lacking of at this point of time, but also maintaining the core principles. So yeah, I think all in all, it's exciting. I'm not sure if Hanzhi can talk also about the partners or some of the amazing supporters we got, because I think that would tell you maybe the scope of things from like different areas from BTC, how we can actually get together and kind of support this, so it can actually come to life.
Yeah.
Amen. So I just wanted to make sure I have it right. So Goldinals is the smart contract layer that uses BVM. And so we're going to be taking other assets like Doggo to the Moon, TAP tokens, Ordi sats, and kind of bringing them all into the smart contract layer that Nubit has provided us, right? And then I'm going to be able to do anything I want to do. So if TAP bridges USDT as a TAP token, I can now just take that and put that into the smart contract layer of Nubit, and now I can trade dog for USDT. That everything. So this is just a smart contract layer. It's kind of like that lives in Bitcoin with everything else. It's just everything has to be kind of bridged inside. Well, and will these tokens be considered wrapped?
Yeah.
Yes, that's essentially like a white version of token, but the bridge is secured by BitVM, which means you don't need to trust like a centralized entity to handle your asset. It's not like a multi-sig.
Yeah.
And if I go in, I can go back out.
Yeah, you can go in and out.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But I feel like if it's a solution, then most people won't go out, but they can. And if they do, they're just going to kind of go back to the clunky kind of format that they were in before.
Yeah, I just meant it as like the TAP USDT. If I wanted to get that to Ethereum, I would have to go back out to Bitcoin and then take that to Ethereum. I'm just trying to give
unless you develop a bridge from this
BVM
BitVM
to Ethereum.
layer to Ethereum, which I'm sure that they will. Okay, so two questions. First, what language are the smart contracts written in? And don't say Bitcoin script. And then two, let's talk speed. But first, let's the first question. What language is it written in?
Yeah. So for the language part, it's essentially like we only deploy a ZK verifier on Bitcoin, which means to implement a ZK circuit, you can use any language. So basically, for now, we are working with the Saint, who are developing like ZK VM, which can you can basically use Rust as your smart contract language and generate ZK circuits and further deploy it on BitVM.
Gotcha. Basically, that smart contract gets really dumbed down for Bitcoin, and then the logic comes in with Bitcoin script at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Awesome. I mean, this is pretty cool to kind of break this down and really learn it from a fundamental level. So really love that. Okay, now second question, speed, because obviously that's something that holds back Bitcoin. Not only do we have like this computation problem, but we have the speed problem. So are we going to be let's say we have an AMM environment with a DEX, are we going to be waiting 10 minutes for each transaction, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so for the speed part, I think like Bitcoin has its own limitation, and everything, if you're trying to do everything on Bitcoin, it would like pretty much like a slow file. So every operation takes 10 minutes or more. And so for the base layer, so for the Goldinals protocol itself, it's the standard. If you want to do all the things on the Bitcoin native level, every operation you need to wait for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You need to wait for the Bitcoin's confirmation. That's like if you want to trade off your security for more scalability, you can basically trust a centralized entity to handle all these operations. It's pretty much like a CX or layer 2. You can build scalability solutions on top of this protocol, but on the meta level, on the base level, it's all secured by Bitcoin. But the trade-off is that you need to wait. It's very slow.
Yeah. And I think that's fine, because you won't have to inscribe a transfer inscription. So as long as you're getting rid of like the extra steps as that they're dealing with right now, really it's going to be kind of like, okay, I got this token at this price that the AMM is giving me. That price is locked in and I already sent that transaction. Now I'm waiting. So what about MEV? Are we going to have to worry about that?
Definitely, you need to worry about that. And things like Bitcoin, like I think there are a few projects that are doing private mempool for Bitcoin, but I don't think there are like enough miners that are trying to deploy these private mempools. So yeah, and MEV is pretty much one of the issue of this of the whole ecosystem. We need to find a way to solve that.
Yeah. But I do love the fact that like Nubit and this alliance with BitVM is creating true programmability on layer one, which I didn't think could exist. I didn't think this could be possible, because the computation limitations of Bitcoin, and so that's pretty cool by using this ZK approach to it. So that's super exciting. But so tomorrow's a big day for you guys. Today is Thursday the 9th, but tomorrow is the 10th. It's a big day. Could you kind of talk about what tomorrow entails?
Yeah. So regarding to our last discussion, so basically I do think Bitcoin needs real programmability, not just like chaos. Like so with all these strong foundations, strong standards, the ecosystem can shift from chaos to more like positive sum innovations. And BitVM is a miracle. It barely works given the Bitcoin's limitation. So if the script size is like even larger, like more like if the script is even larger, we cannot put it into Bitcoin, even if we can split all codes. So basically, it's like a miracle. It's like we are very fortunate to have this implemented that can be implemented on Bitcoin. And with all these like programmable features, all these execution proofs, we can finally enable more new use cases. Originally, I think it would take longer, but within a year, it got implemented. So tomorrow, we will release the white paper of Goldinals protocol. It details the design, the BitVM part, the ZK proof part on the white paper. And we will release our first batch of like launching partner for the Goldinals protocol, which includes the Synth, which includes Fractal Bitcoin, Merlin, Yala. All these projects are trying to contribute to the Goldinals protocol to create a more inclusive and positive sum ecosystem for the like existing communities, right? So based on tomorrow's update, our white paper release, we will soon release our testnet and mainnet, which can you can directly interact with these front ends and try out new features.
You said mainnet and testnet tomorrow?
Tomorrow is the white paper, and we will release the
white
testnet.
paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know when the testnet will be available?
Well, so for now, like the internal devnet is available. So
Gotcha.
we have shared the devnet, the testnet with all our partners. And for the public testnet, we are aiming for the February in a month,
Oh wow.
and mainnet in March.
Yeah. So that's awesome. I figured that like a lot of amazing things were going to roll out in Q1, and so that's why sometimes, even though there's like really hot things happening in the other parts of the space, sometimes we got to pull back and say, hey, what's happening here under the, behind the curtains. And so that's super exciting that you guys are going to have, possibly the testnet in February and then mainnet in March. And do you feel like the other components of this alliance will be kind of rolling things out alongside of you? Like I think was it Citria, yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yes. Citra. So there are other projects like Citra, Open Labs, ZeroThink, Element Labs. So all these BitVM companies, they are pushing for like different aspect of like native use cases. So I think for Citra and Open Labs, they are more focused on their Bitcoin layer 2. So they are trying to use BitVM as like a execution layer for their bridge, so that they can
That's huge.
yes,
That's
it's huge. Like you can enable the real like
Trust
roll up on
minimized.
Bitcoin. Yeah, trust minimized bridge. Instead of like a multi-sig or like pretty centralized. But with BitVM, they can settle and bridge native Bitcoin to their layer without like much trust. And so we are like working closely with them. So like last November, we just collaborated with them on a paper called push button verification for BitVM, which essentially enables we built the first formal verification tool for reason about the Bitcoin script, which includes the implementation of BitVM. So basically, the BitVM itself is very, very difficult, very complex, and it involves like a 2 gigabyte Bitcoin script. So how can you trust it? So we need a machine program to verify each operations, so since you cannot just like manually inspect it, right? So we built a tool to do this verification part, and we are like this work is essentially sponsored by Starkware and Fractal Bitcoin, and we deliver this work together with the like ZeroThink, Open Lab, Citra, and also Domo, the creator of ES20. So it's just huge. Like to make BitVM really in production ready, we need this work. We need to ensure the security.
Yeah, I'm finally seeing why you guys are partnering with all these other projects, right? They need you because a lot of them are just using bridges, especially Merlin. Like we're good friends with Jeff, so we definitely see his need to partner with someone like you. We can get trustless bridging. That changes the game. That actually enables. I mean, they kind of go from side chains to L2s at that point. Well, getting there, right? That's like the first step is trustless bridging. And okay, so now I'm understanding why you guys are partnering with Fractal, why you guys are partnering with Merlin and stuff like that. But you said Yala, right?
Yeah.
Are they building because they're building they're building like a MakerDAO type of environment with a yield stable coin and stuff like that. Are they building on this new layer?
Yeah, so we are working on a paper called Stablecoin on Bitcoin with BitVM, with Yala Labs. So we are trying to deploy their stablecoin standard on Goldinals.
Love it.
So it's only possible with BitVM.
Yeah, because I've been using Yalla for a while. I like test nets. I like messing with stuff that's free, and I can make a lot of mistakes on and kind of learn. So I've been messing with Yalla since their first launch on testnet. Now I think they're on the second one. So that's huge. That's a big builder for you guys, and they just got a lot of funding too. So that should be a really good project to land on what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we are very good friends.
Awesome.
That's super awesome. I'm super excited. The last question I have, I guess, for you, Hans, is that there are multiple teams approaching this virtual machine solution type of TEE environment type of thing. But like, if you look at Ethereum, if you look at Solana, there's only one VM solution. Do you feel like with Bitcoin it's different, that there's going to be multiple solutions, or there's going to be one that unites everybody?
This is a very good question. So I think we can examine the revolution of Bitcoin itself. So let's just talk about for the past 2 or 3 years. So at the end of 2022, we have Ordinals, which is like a NFT potential for Bitcoin. We can directly issuing NFTs directly on Bitcoin. And in 2023, early 2023 in March, Domo released the BS20 white paper, which is the first like asset or fungible token standard based on ordinals. And later on, we have multiple asset for standard like atomicals, like atomicals, ruins, all these new different standards. So Then we came the emergency with Merlin, Babylon, all the like BTC files. So like all these standards, all these projects are like took the like steps towards the Bitcoin's like true potential. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that for an ecosystem to truly mature, we really need all these projects to build on Bitcoin. So the first step is we attract or we bring the builder culture back to Bitcoin, whether it's like competitive or whether it's like unified. It doesn't matter. We just need more builders. We can work on different protocols. We can work on different standards. We can compete with each other. It's all good. It's a very good thing for an ecosystem, especially for like a trustless and decentralized ecosystem like Bitcoin. But I think like there's one direction, or there's like one thing is certain, is that to truly make this ecosystem mature, to truly make this happen, we must abandon some like existing centralized practice and shift to solutions that are more native to Bitcoin. And that's inevitable. That's the trend. So this transformation can really mark it's like an important step towards the maturity of the whole ecosystem. And I think only if like these projects, these protocols are building towards this direction, they can succeed. And the like finally, like when everything settled down, I think the most native protocol will be lasting. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I actually I think so. I asked that question because my personal opinion is that the market will select the best solution of a VM, right? Because I think to have a successful inflow and outflow of liquidity, which has to happen, you can't have stagnant liquidity, which is what we have now. And I think you have to have a uniting virtual machine that all developers get on the universal page with, because they're developing it together, right? And I think that, but there doesn't have to be any animosity or tribalism, because in the end, if the product is that good, then the market will select it, and then everybody will be happy anyways. You know what I mean? Because they'll all gravitate to it. So that's how I see it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, it totally makes
100%.
sense. Yeah.
I think like that's an interesting point where we all looking for the next killer app on Bitcoin. For that one to happen, we have to onboard the next million of developers. So then we can have more users actually interacting with those, whatever they create. So I think that's what's gonna win. And I think what Hanzi said is like pretty much like verifies that it's not a zero-sum game. Like I think there's a healthy competition going on, but at the end of the day, users will decide, developers are gonna build whatever makes much more convenience for them and ease of usage. So I think there's two different ways we can onboard and see the people going in. I think we see it from a centralized base, which again, there's nothing wrong with that from like, interacting with Coinbase or anything like that. But if you do want to go to the true use case for Bitcoin, I think the more centralized way without, hurting the developers or the users, that they actually engaging with a decentralized way will win essentially. So we'll be excited to see.
Yeah. And this all comes together really awesome because, in Bitcoin, it starts with ideas, builders, users, and then we get our Jeeters, right? Then we get the people coming in and they Jeet everything, the Solana people, right? But it all started with an idea from Robert Linus, right? And then you guys took that and you guys built something with Nubit on there, and then the users come. So it's really cool. I felt like this whole episode was like I had like a wall up, and you guys were just chiseling at that wall. And I finally feel like I really got a really good understanding of what you guys are building. Norbert, you have a tough job ahead of you, man. But if there's anything that we can do to help you guys kind of educate the users and bring the users so we can get to the Jeeters, because that's where we need to get to, right? We need the degens to come in, and that's where we can start really having some fun.
I think it will take time. You know that there's always a learning curve when it comes down to new technology, regardless.
Yeah.
So I think with Ordinals runes, you know how awful the Ordinals trading has been really, really early on. Those kind of steps needed to evolve. So I think now a lot of projects are building on making it much more accessible. So I think education being one thing, providing the tools and the actual user experience. So like it's pretty much like a time frame that each of us are building. And I think like what Hanzi said is like, not saying it's a miracle or like, but essentially implementing BitVM from a paper to being this close to being implemented is only feasible and possible because of the GigaBrains actually getting together and able to have a mutual goal of what we're trying to do. And I think kind of falling back into that one that if there's more support, I think in our ecosystem as a whole, without like being divided, I think overall each of us early adopters of Bitcoin and how we have a use case for it will be happy because again, the ecosystem grows. We were able to onboard the next millions of billions of users that are actually in this Bitcoin decentralized environment. So yeah, excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah,
100%.
I was going to say that's a great point. And if we look back, 2023 was the year of innovation in terms of ordinals and fungibles on Bitcoin. And us users benefited from that because, if you were a degen, then you benefited if you, stuck with it. 2024, in my opinion, has been the year of like a race of builders to build and have a successful prototype, right? But that's where competition comes in. And that's okay because we actually have a good amount of builders here right now, but they're building their thing and they want their thing to win. And I think 2025 is going to choose kind of what that winning prototype is going to be, or protocol, and then that's when the slew of builders will come in because they're going to have a universal knowledge of how to do it, how to build it out. So we're actually in a great process of evolution right now, in my opinion. So this is the year I think that we're all going to see what tech wins, and that's okay, whatever wins, because the other people tried, and that's okay. Now they can kind of join together for this ultimate goal that we've been talking about this time. But great conversation, guys.
I think like at the early stage, it's like a technical game, and later on, it's more like a distribution game.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, 100%. I got one last question for me. Is there any way as a user to kind of take advantage of this in the upcoming months, especially when mainnet launches? Obviously, you're going to be able to bridge tokens in, but Goldinals obviously it's its own token standard, but everything can be bridged into exactly what Goldinals is. Will there be a first token? Are you guys thinking of anything like that, or is there any way so a user can take advantage of this in the early days of mainnet?
Yeah, definitely. So since this protocol is called Goldinals, so the first token I think it should be gold, right? The ticker should be gold, and we are designing the mechanism for the whole protocol right now. We don't want it to be like pretty centralized. We want every single community member can take part in this protocol, and basically, like next month, we will release more details regarding how to participate in this protocol, how to like get advantage. And for now, like just learn this protocol design. Just make sure you understand all the details, all the high-level details, so that you can like in a month later you can participate in this protocol.
Yeah, man, so you're bringing gold to Bitcoin. I absolutely love it, guys. I love it. All right. It's been an amazing episode, guys. I kind of want to give you guys a stage one last time, kind of our thank you for coming on. I really appreciate 48 minutes now. It's been absolutely amazing. But if there's anything last thing you would like to say to our audience before we let you guys go, we'll start with you, Hanzi.
It's really exciting to see like the whole ecosystem grow from like limited protocols, limited use cases to this like solely programmable and trustless execution layer on Bitcoin. So what I want to try to say is that let's don't fight each other. Let's unify the whole ecosystem and make it towards like a brighter future.
Awesome. Absolutely amazing. And Norbert, man, thank you for reaching out to us with this. I know you like shout out to Fonzie from Ordinal Hive, man, with that hookup, because this has been absolutely awesome. I'm so glad we can share this with our audience. But I want to thank you first and kind of get your last words.
Yeah, I think you'll see me in spaces. I think like what Hansi said, education is first. So if you have any questions, again, we will always keep posting on Twitter account, but also on Discord. We have a pretty big, almost 500,000 community members. So again, if you have any questions, that's why we're here. We're trying to answer, trying to educate you to or for you to actually participate in the upcoming campaign. I want you to have a good experience. I think again, like digging for gold in this upcoming kind of testnet campaign is going to be super exciting. And how we can unify the ecosystem is what this is for. So 2025 could be a way to have a breakout year for Bitcoin.
Absolutely love it, guys. Thank you guys so much. And we'll have to do a part 2, especially when testnet comes out, so we can actually showcase what you guys are building. We'll show the screens. We'll actually go through the entire process to get people on board it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. It was awesome.
Thank you, guys.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
All right, guys, absolutely amazing episode. I truly, I truly believe I got an understanding for this now, right? I'm a user, guys. I'm somebody who needs to sit down and really kind of open my wallet up, use the site, learn about it. But I think these guys did an amazing job of explaining this. It's basically a smart contract layer on Bitcoin. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But it's also my favorite part, though, is Fractal, your Fractal Bitcoin, Merlin, and everyone else is looking at them as like, that's our bridge. This is our chance, with the Opcat, it actually opens a lot of stuff up, probably benefits them a lot more. But if we don't get Opcat, which at this point, it's hard to say that's going to happen, right? Especially with, BlackRock and Sailor in this. But if we don't get this, it's amazing to have a solution like BVM and what these guys are building.
Yeah, exactly. To be able to create like a trust minimized bridge without Opcat is wild. So can't wait to see it. Can't wait to mess with it. But it will definitely make these Bitcoin layer 2s like Merlin and stuff bridging a lot more. I guess put people at ease. I guess, and so that's going to be really exciting. But it's just exciting in general to have kind of these giga brains working on solutions right behind the scenes. And so that's what this episode was for you guys, is to really let you guys see behind the curtain of what's happening, because there's a lot of teams building, and so we're excited about it, and we can't wait to see what they roll out, right? But we want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for about an hour now, and we hope that you learned something from this. We know you did if you watched the entire episode. But we just want to say thank you for watching, allowing us to do what we love to do each and every day. And if you wouldn't mind checking out our partners, we would greatly appreciate that as well. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tool for Bitcoin Layer 1 assets, more specifically Ordinals. You're going to be able to jump your Ordinals from Bitcoin Layer 1 to Bitcoin Layer 2 Merlin to Abstract Chain to possibly Ape Chain, Ethereum. They're about to roll out their EVM kind of package here very soon. So keep your eyes out on Emblem. Also, they have their AI product. They're going to be able to integrate, the Bitcoin wallet with their AI agent. And, they're actually connected with like Eliza. So all the plugins that Eliza has, like with the Bitcoin side, they get those, like Merlin, Bitcoin Layer 1, all those. So just we're excited about them, and you guys should be too. You can check them out at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC is the prediction marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their marketplace. If you have an Xverse wallet with some Bitcoin in it, it takes 6 blocks, and then you can have your Bitcoin on their marketplace placing bets. They have bets related to the Bitcoin ecosystem, to sports, to pretty much anything you can think of. And they also have a point system. You want to interact with their platform so you can earn points, because they have a rune that they're going to have in the future. And that smells like airdrop to me. But, you get 50 points for just signing up, and you don't have to place a bet. But placing bets gets you points as well. So you can learn more at betbtc.win. And BitPerp, the perps and leverage decks of the Bitcoin ecosystem, they have their paper trading competition here in about 7 days. You have a chance to win a part of that 10,000 USDT and 50,000 BTP. If you have one of the top P&Ls, you will qualify for those prizes. And then also, They have a big announcement next week, so stay tuned to that. They're going to allow you to trade synthetic versions of your Bitcoin runes, the popular ones, and the BRC20s. It's going to be very, very fun on their platform, but they're going to be offering a lot more in terms of their whole kind of product offering, guys. But we're going to wait and let them announce that first. But you can learn more at bitperp.io. And Fluid Tokens are the Wizard UTXO devs with Raul and those guys over there crushing it. The first to offer retail staking vaults to the public on Bitcoin Layer 1. And so right now they have their campaign with their Fluid passes. You want to stake those because you're going to be earning their Fluid rune. It's going to be a 1-to-1 to their current Cardano token. These guys are building. They started on Cardano and building on Bitcoin now. They're building the bridge from Cardano to Bitcoin. They got some crazy wallet account abstraction stuff happening to where you can actually do DeFi on Cardano with your Bitcoin wallet. These guys are just crushing it. You can learn more at fluidtokens.com and click on the Bitcoin logo for more information there. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you're a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1 with your protocol, you want it to be more flexible, you can reach out to Merlin Chain and apply for a builder grant. And then they have the greatest builder support as well. We've witnessed it firsthand with some of our partners, onboarding them to Merlin as well. If you're a retail user and you want to swap to use a swap similar to something like Uniswap, you can use Merlin Swap over there, and you can swap for Dog of the Moon rune using your Wrap Bitcoin or Merlin token. And then don't forget about our integrated partners in Foxy building the metaverse called the Bitverse on Bitcoin Layer 1, as well as their first-person shooter game called Clan Wars. And then Ordinal Hive is an aggregator marketplace that will allow you to purchase the cheapest ordinals on Bitcoin Layer 1 and Layer 2, and they have amazing trader tools as well. And we thank you so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job, man. If you guys have one more minute, just check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know somebody just entering the space, send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where they are today. And if you guys need a VPN, we have the best VPN. We have a NordVPN. Do not let sites stop you from using it. It's not your government that is stopping you. It is the website. So you guys can use pretty much any website you want with a VPN. You guys can get a free one, or you can use Nord. Nord provides you security that I think you guys should all use. So definitely get a VPN. It's like $3 a month, guys. And if you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Vegas, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I mean, it's Las Vegas, guys. Bitcoin, Las Vegas. We're all going to feel real rich in May. We better. we better, but I think we are, guys. I think we're gonna have an amazing spring, guys. It's gonna be absolutely amazing, and it's gonna lead us up to Bitcoin 2025. Get your tickets through us, and if you guys need merch for that event or any event, or just kind of lounge around at home, we have hoodies, shirts, jackets, school bags, and much more, guys. Hit the little store tab. It'll take you to our Shopify. We have so much, guys. Check it all here at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and 8 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. UTC. So check us out all week, guys. Until tomorrow.
Peace.
Ordinal Revolution. Let's go.